First, the Queen issues a decree that changes the status of Sammерсет from an isolated paradise into a tourist attraction. Now monsters, sea creatures, I've never seen anything like them. Well, I say let the cat fight them. Better him than me. Suddenly the ground opened, spewing water and strange creatures. They attacked us. Luckily, one of the newcomers, a Khajiit, leaped in and drove them back. Called himself Razumdar. He could probably use some help if you're so inclined.
Have you ever seen such creatures? Raz has not. Probably neither have you. You are a newcomer, yes? New to this island of high elves? This one has an eye for such things. And you look capable. Ominous? No, nothing of the sort. Well, maybe a little of the sort. Depends on how things develop. Raz has come to Sammерсет at the behest of Queen Ayrenn to make sure her ask some questions, determine the mood in Shimmerin, and see how the newcomers are faring. Rumors have reached the Queen, and she is concerned. So Razumdar comes to see what is happening and fights. While you ask questions around the city, Raz can take care of some other business. It may or may not involve scratching and clawing. Let's meet... Raz knows very little about city ordinances or how to tell the difference between mead and ale, so let's... Queen Ayrenn, her most excellent leader of the Aldmeri Dominion, has issued a decree opening the once forbidden land of Sammерсет to traders, visitors, and immigrants of all races. Controversial, yes, for some. High elves talk of perfection, but they are a complicated people. Various individuals... King Lady Avenice has made her views on the Queen's decree quite clear. She calls it unreasonable, dangerous. A few of the city's nobles have sided with the King Lady. She has spoken against it. Now Raz needs to know how far she will go to defy the will of the Queen. Does she grumble?
Find your own patch of beach. Not that you'd understand the concept, but the path to Alaxon requires dedication and complete concentration. I must find the perfect shells, or my pigments will be substandard. An ultimate concept practiced widely here in Sammерсет. Alaxon is the state of perfection that every high elf strives for. The path to Alaxon. I believe in caution as much as the next high elf, but sometimes the rules get in the way of common sense. My apprentice lived here for more than a year. Good help, they took her away. Said they had to scrutinize her qualifications, test her knowledge of culture and etiquette. But I haven't seen her since. My work suffers. They told me I could fill out some forms and appeal to the kin lady. But who has time for such bureaucracy? And for a wood elf? I've said too much. I have... Perfection requires constant vigilance, so back to it.
newcomer in the warehouse district. Unusual, but how can I help you today, my friend? The Divine? Who told you that? If a Justiciar sent you to try and trick me into confessing... No, no. The High Elves would never send a newcomer to perform such... I arranged to bring my cousin here to work with me. The ship arrived, but all the newcomers were carted away. For questioning, they said. Oh, my family has been here for generations and generations. Before the Queen's decree, outsiders might have been rare, but we were not unheard of. Our Sammерсет is a rare and beautiful jewel in the Abetian Sea. I love it here. The High Elves treat us like children, but they have never been hostile. The Queen's decree has stirred the waters, though.
Fascinating. Welcome. Are you here? Yes, of course. We're lawkeepers across the face of Tam. Always good to speak with another knowledge seeker. Guildmaster. We're book hunters of a sort. We seek out new information, capture it in our libraries. We provide training in unique spells and abilities only available to... Excellent. You are now a student of...
This is unheard of. Why have you closed the monastery?
Good people, I hear your concerns.
Well, the workers I hired, they were aboard the ship from Rivenspire.
The Kin Lady and I, we have only your best interests in mind. Every guest must be sequestered while we ascertain their...
Such anger. Raz never expected to hear such words from the Queen's loyal subjects. The sentiment isn't universal, but enough feel this way for us to be concerned. Sequestered, Just a different word for imprisoned, yes. Ranul's cousin just arrived, but Old Newell's assistant has lived on Sammерсет since long before the Queen ever issued her decree. What about the lizard? What did Zokso? Why would the Aldar gather up newcomers and non-High Elf residents alike and send them to the monastery? Does the Kin Lady condone this behavior? Raz admires your enthusiasm, but this one needs you to enter...
Mara, help me. An adventurer? Oh, praise you, Mara, for hearing my prayers. Please, newcomer, I'm desperate for help. My son, Arathel. Yes, I'm sorry. The last time I saw him, he was agitated, scared. I asked him what was wrong, but he left without a word. The guards arrived later. They said he turned himself in, that he was involved in a plot to kill our Sapiarch, Ikanta. No, he vanished. They say he escaped. Can you believe it? Why would he turn himself in only to escape a few hours later? They're hiding something, I know it. You have a perfect heart, newcomer. None of my neighbors would lift a finger to help me. The guards placed Arathel in a cell beneath the Kin Lady's manor. No, Icantar treats us like family. Arathel is Icantar's apprentice, you see? He was so proud when the attestation came through. He's been a bit right. You're new to the Isle. I apologize. Apraxic Mer are people who, for whatever reason, were expelled from the greater Elven community. Most Aprax, some do, yes. Treatises on class warfare, religious hypocrisy, that sort of thing. A lot of young Mer take a liking to it. I think it's healthy to push back a bit. Not too much, of course, but a bit. Rumor has it that a famous Aprax called the Mother of Rats lives in the city, but I've never met her. And even if I did, we're forbidden from speaking with her. Oh, that sounds awful, doesn't it? It's just the way things are here, I'm afraid.
You there! I have a... Damn it, why won't this work?
Did you see a golden knight?
I have no idea what that was, and I'm not sure I want to know.
Sentry! Raz owes you for that game of cards and has come to pay.
Well, I don't recall any... you say I won some gold?
Don't you remember?
You have no right to be in here.
No, not now, please. Your spiritual well-being can wait until after my... You'll have to ask one of the monks that the new Aldach brought with him. They deal with all the newcomer testing and evaluations. I'm just a simple monk trying to catch up on my sleep. That was a hint, by the way. Again with the questions about the newcomers. Why do you care about the complexities of Altma bureaucracy? Still, the monastery should be a place of peace and meditation. The Aldach...
Unusual knick-knack for an Aldach's office, wouldn't you agree? I noticed you skulking around while I was engaged in some skulking of my own. I suppose we both came to the monastery with a similar... The sequestered newcomers. I came to find out what happened to a friend. I assume that's what brought you here as well? A house of worship shouldn't be used as an internment camp, and it shouldn't be locked to the public either. Interesting. I've never seen anything quite like it. I find it intriguing and a bit disturbing. But we aren't here to discuss curios. Strange creatures not with... The sentry doesn't appear to have stopped you, so I could ask you... That's the question, my cautious friend. We have a newly appointed Aldach and a disgruntled kin lady, both opposed to the Queen's decree. What's their connection to the missing newcomers? I was about to explore the under... A curious pearl. I wonder where the Aldach acquired it. Probably not important. I'll meet you in the Undercroft, and we can see what's going on with the newcomers. Something's wrong down here. I sense magic. Vile magic. Cages? These people did nothing to deserve such treatment.
Thank the Divines! You aren't one of the monks. Please, let me... It's a nightmare. We came to Sammерсет to seek new opportunities. We barely stepped off the ship when they marched us to the monastery. Instead of questioning us or the usual high elf bureaucracy, the monks gathered them a few moments ago and took them through the door on the far side of the chamber. Please.
Is that a scoffin?
Oh, thank you for setting me free.
A Daedra. Here? And that's a scoffin, if I remember my Daedric recitations correctly. Very curious. An excellent question, and one I hope to find the answer to. From the evidence before us, it appears this Nord killed the Scoffin before he succumbed to his own wounds. Good for him. I found this key on the creature's belt, so we can open that door. Then I suggest we pick up the pace. We need to determine... I'll explain everything later. For now, we need to hurry.
More newcomers? Unfortunately, the magic only affects those who have been prepared. But never fear. Your turn will come.
I'll deal with the pearl. You hold off these creatures. These creatures. Hold them off while I complete my spell. Come on, let's talk outside. Those poor people. This wasn't just about newcomers and opposing the Queen's decree. I promised to explain what I know. I suppose that now's as good a time as any. I'm a member of the Psijic Order. Our Rite Master sent me. The Psijic Order is an ancient magical monastic society. We served as advisors to the rulers of Tamriel, but that was before we removed our island home from the world. Now this threat has drawn us back. But why are you involved? An Eye of the Queen? Interesting. I diffused the Daedric magic and transported the pearl to Artaeum, the Psijic island for safekeeping and study, so we can learn more about it. But we can discuss this further.
The Master's plan unfolds nicely.
Living on Artaeum for a few centuries doesn't prepare you for physical activity. Let the Eye of the Queen know what we discovered, and I'll catch up with you later.
Next time I'm in the... Welcome to our hall. Are you familiar with the guild? The Fighters Guild. You should consider joining up. We have a new guildmaster and a new singular excellent. I know we'll all be drawing blades together soon enough. Right. Our new guildmaster is an Argonian, sees all colors. She has us all hunting down the Daedra and their damned anchors. You might have seen them. Enormous chains, plagues of Daedra boil out to lay waste to the country. Excellent. Right. Our new guildmaster is an Argonian. Ha! Yes. Then let me be the first.
This manor is closed by order of the Divine Prosecution, so I'll keep this brief. Who are you, and what do you want? Aye, Surabane's ring, will I never be rid of that hen? Look, turning away grieving mothers brings me no satisfaction, but this situation is delicate. The Divine Prosecution does not lose prisoners. Ever. Not here, clearly. You really do mean to track him down, don't you? Fine. When we took Arathel into custody, he was only carrying a handful of coin, a tin flute, and some kind of crude map. Our draftsman drew up a few copies for distribution to the bailiffs. They're stacked upstairs near the hearth. You can take one if you wish. With this So you would ask my name without offering your own? No, don't bother. I've grown to expect these clumsy troglodytic introductions. I am Talarian, Justiciar of Ramand. Spilling wine on your vest at a dinner party is embarrassing. This is, frankly, That's a matter for the High Justiciar and the Sapiarchs. It seems he escaped into the vaulted Halsorial. The sewer. Gods, what a hideous word. Anyway, he had help. That gaping hole in the wall.
By the Empyrean light, it's the savior of the keepers.
I suppose the divine prosecutor.
I don't know you, and I am not in.
Ah, this one's new partner returns. What interesting scandal did you uncover in the monastery? Tell Raz every juicy detail. That isn't the kind of scandal Raz was hoping for. Murder, Daedric rituals, and traitorous behavior have a way of ruining an otherwise perfect day. Accuse? Not exactly. Raz wants you to talk to her. See what she knows about the Oldar. The Kin Lady. A Sijik? Raz has heard rumors, but there are always rumors about the Sijiks. For an island of sages who disappeared more than 300 years ago, they certainly seem to get around. There was a life-sucking pearl. You should probably have led with that bit of information. Well, we can worry about the Sijik mage and figure out where these pearls came from later. For now, Kin Lady Avenice and Raz do not get along. You see, there was a horse, a platter of pudding tarts, and... No. This one won't bore you with the sordid details. Besides, Everyone behaves well when they see Raz. You will...
This one despises this land of pompous... Ah, for that one you must go upstairs. The hooded man will have what you seek.
I know it doesn't look like it, but I'm working. So, jog on. It didn't instruct you to do anything. That note was meant for someone else. Of course, you already know that. So, should I reach for my knife, or are we going to make... Huh. So, Talarian and his lackeys haven't found him either, huh? Color me surprised. I tried to help the kid, but if he didn't even find my note, he's in worse trouble than I thought. You carry yourself well. Yeah, the Mother of Rats is our matriarch. She shelters us outcasts and misfits. Loves us, even. In her way. If you aim to help Arethel, she'll want to meet you first. There's an entrance to the sewers down by the dock. Name's Edgar Jend. Professional misfit, ne'er-do-well, and sometimes hatchet man. Mother sends me out to collect lost things. And people. I've got to tell you, this whole Arethel thing, it's giving me indigestion. I have a delicate constitution. That's a question for Mother. Speaking of which, you should be on your way.